And welcome to the Coach's Corner post-game report. I'm the coach, Dick Cox, joined by Coach Barry Toney. Well, we knew this was going to be a big ball game tonight, though. This was a defining moment for the South Carolina football program to play a Texas A&M team that was preseason number 6 in the country, and a team, the only team in the SEC that South Carolina has never defeated. This team's had 2 weeks to get ready, and I tell you what, we saw a barn burner tonight.
Hey, you're absolutely right there, Coach. Coming down to Columbia, we knew it was going to be a barn burn, and that's exactly what happened.
The game started out, again, this game was a sellout. The crowd was rowdy. It was rocking, which we talked about here, the lights flashing, everything. The the state fair was going on across the street, but it was a carnival atmosphere in Williams-Brice Stadium tonight.
Right.
And it only fueled the fire when Xavier Lequette took the opening kickoff 100 yards in 14 seconds to get the Gamecocks off to a fast start.
Hey, you're absolutely right there, Coach. I think to be exact, it was probably, about 104 yards, but I know they'll say it's 100.
Well, they say it was 100 because the record, the South Carolina record, is held by Sterling Sharp at 103 yards. But they said he caught it on the goal line, took it coast to coast. And again, I had to look over and ask Coach Toney, is that Halloween this week? Because the Gamecocks not only ran the kickoff back, they come back the next series and intercept a pass and returned it down to the 5-yard line, which led to a field goal. Texas A&M gets the ball back, and then they strip the ball and get a fumble, which led to another South Carolina score. And before you even got seated good, the score was 17-0.
Hey, you're right there, Coach. You and I both, you turn around and ask me, are we still in the first quarter? Hey, we were, because that first quarter lasted around 48, 50 minutes.
And again, this game tonight, again, the state fair, we enjoyed seeing the rides, and me being a carnival guy, I love that. But this game today had more ups and downs than any ride over there on that thing, on the midway over there, a roller coaster or whatever, that it looked safe, like South Carolina had the thing in control, to where they were up 9 with a little over a minute to play. But the Texas A&M team, to their credit, they drove down, kicked the field goal with, I think, 13 seconds to go, and then executed perfectly the onside kick and got the ball back at midfield in time for 2 plays. And the first play was batted down at the end zone. Now, Aswani, the home clock is supposed to let the clock run out.
That's right, but we looked at there, Coach. There's still 1 second left.
1 second. And then they got one more chance at it again, and the Gamecocks were able, as they did all night long, to get a good pass rush and were able to deflect the ball and came away with a 30-24 victory.
Coach, if you'd all said that was a total team win. Offense, defense, special teams all contributed to the victory.
And I asked Coach Beamer post-game this question right here too, was that most people are going to look at the stat and they're going to overlook this stat, but your punter tonight punted 6 times for a 49-yard average and flipped the field every time he punted the ball. Texas A&M's got one of the top return teams in the country, and matter of fact, ran back a punt in last year's game. They held them to 14 total yards in punt returns tonight.
Hey, special teams there, Coach. As for a punter, you don't see punting like that in the NFL.
Again, the punter for the Gamecocks was one of the guys who got a game ball.
He deserved it.
Leggett got a game ball because he had the 100-yard return, but even more important, or just as important, was the last kickoff that South Carolina had. He nailed somebody at about the 5-yard line down there on the return, so that he put his stamp on the game.
Hey, that was big. Special teams. That's definitely called Beamer ball there, Coach.
Well, Coach Toney, you had a chance to go over tonight and hear what Jumbo Jimbo had to say. But again, let us know what the locker room and A&M was like tonight.
Well, I tell you what, Jimbo, he accepted, the loss well. I thought, he didn't give any excuses, and he gave the Gamecocks credit. But he said his team, what happens, especially when you're on the road, you can't get behind the 8 ball like that. Get down by 17 so early. But but he was encouraged by the way his kids, they kept playing and competing, and even to the end there, they had a shot, and he was talking about his his other quarterback put in that Connor Wayman. He was pleased with the way he was, responding to the crowd. But he said his other quarterback, King, he just didn't feel, safe about putting him back in the game. But Coach, it didn't make any difference who was going to be out there. That Gamecock defense was playing extremely well, and he just said we're going to have to go back to the drawing board. There were some questions asked about, the culture and what was going on with, losing the games and all. But like I said, he didn't give any excuses. He just said we got to keep playing hard. We got to keep practicing, and we can still have some good things that happen to us the rest of the season.
And Coach Tony, I believe you said too that some of the A&M players actually talked about the atmosphere in South Carolina fans.
They were more or less. I think that was a big compliment and a big way in which the Gamecocks were able to win, because the players that talked about the crowd, they were comparing it with some pretty good crowd, like Alabama crowd too. They said this crowd certainly played an important role in helping them win in regards to all the offsides and false starts that A&M had.
Well, again, I told Coach Tony coming down here, with the millions of dollars they've spent on the lights and different special effects, right, that it was going to be a great atmosphere, and it lived up to that in every way.
Hey, absolutely. Even like you said there, Coach, just like the fair across the streets, and there was a tremendous fair going on here in Williams-Brice.
The carnival atmosphere was in Williams-Brice Stadium, along with the state fairgrounds right across the street from where we are now, though. Again, Coach Shane Beamer was very complimentary of the fans, said this was the loudest he has ever heard this place, and every one of the players. Again, it was kind of interesting tonight. I got a chance to talk with Spencer Rattler about his big tight end that came from him from Oklahoma. This is probably the first time they have really been able to hook up here, and talked about looking for him and wanting to get the ball in his hands too.
That's right. You're right there, Coach. And, all those big plays. And, the thing what I liked about the Gamecocks, the offense, they were encouraging defense and vice versa. And on that last drive they made down there and, scored that touchdown, that was big. That gave them that 9-point lead, but it almost evaporated toward the end, didn't it?
It did. And Shane Beamer actually thought back. He was asked the question on the 4th and 1, had you thought about the fourth going for the field goal to make it a 12-point lead at that point? And he said he felt like with them having a freshman quarterback, the defense had played well all night, that it would take a lot for them to have any chance at all. And he said, well, I guess they did have a chance to do that, because that's exactly what they did.
That's right.
But it's kind of interesting and neat to see, too, the player that Marshawn Lloyd has developed into. This young man came to South Carolina as a big blue chip running back, one of the top ones in the country. Tore his ACL his freshman year. Last year, never really did recover, was not full speed, but he has proven himself with big runs tonight in crucial situations to be an SEC running back.
Hey, you're absolutely right. He made some big plays down that stretch, and I tell you what, he really took a lick down here around the goal line there. He had his helmet knocked off, and he said he was dazzled there for a little
goofy
while.
There.
Hey, he did. I believe he ended up going.
He came back in and scored a touchdown to finish that drive.
Yes, right.
Came out of the tent.
That showed a lot of heart and character.
And it was good, too. I never thought I would ever say this in a South Carolina-Texas A&M game. South Carolina won the war in the trenches tonight.
Hey, they did.
That defensive line for the Gamecocks, the defense played really, really well. And the defense, I think, won them the game tonight. And not only stopping the run that the A&M running back is a track star, a really good player. They shut him down, and they harassed the quarterback from A&M all night long.
Hey, you're right there, Coach. And I tell you what, let's give credit to the Gamecocks offensive line, too, because there weren't many times when Rattler was sacked or anything, and he had some time to throw the football.
I don't think he got sacked a single time. I think he ran it several times.
Well, that line too, yeah.
But just a good game. And South Carolina, last year they came back after they had their bye week and finished strong and got bowl eligible. And again, the Gamecocks the next 2 weeks will actually be favored. And Spencer Rattler said, when are we going to be ranked? He said, we've won two big SEC games.
Right.
It could happen this week because they got some votes. But this team has got a chance to improve on that 7-5 from last year. And I saw some bowl scouts that were here tonight. I know Shane Beamer went over and spoke to one of them after the press conference, and he also wished his dad a happy birthday tonight.
Right. Hey, that was a class. That we were able to see some pictures being taken of he and his family.
So the Gamecocks now have won 5 ball games. They're 1 away from being bowl eligible, and they got 5 games left. So again, this team is playing well right now. The big thing is, like they preached from day one when he took this job, these players like each other, they love each other, and I saw this several times when I got the binoculars out tonight, that before the defense went out there for a big series, when they were huddled up, the offensive players, I saw Marshawn Lloyd out there encouraging them. When the offense got ready to go back out on that 80-yard drive that iced the game, the defensive players were out there encouraging them, and that's what it takes. Football's a team game.
Hey, that's right. Everybody so-called all in there, Coach, and they, like you said, they got a great opportunity to go ahead and get bowl eligible very quickly. They got Missouri coming in next Saturday, and then the following Saturday they'll be going to Nashville and playing the Vanderbilt Commodores, and then they'll start playing the Orange Crush schedule.
So I'd hope to be able to take Coach Tony over to ride the Himalaya with me, but the fair has closed. It's after 12 midnight here there, so I guess Coach Tony will have to do it another time.
That's right. We'll try another time. That's right.
Reporting for Lindy Sports and Cox Sports Broadcasting, he's Coach Tony. I'm Coach Cox. It's a happy night to be a Gamecock. Good night, everybody.
Yep. Sorry to keep y'all waiting. So heck of a celebration in that locker room, as you guys can imagine. First of all, I want to thank our fans. That environment tonight may have been the greatest I've ever been a part of, starting with the Gamecock Walk, the 2001 Sandstorm, just the advantage that they gave us throughout the night. I told the players at the hotel, we haven't gotten off to good starts here at home, and I don't know if it's because we're caught up in 2001 and Sandstorm and Gamecock Walk, and then we don't get out there and execute like we should. So I told the team at the hotel literally right before we came over here that I understand the crowd's going to be a great advantage for us, but we're not going to win the game because of the crowd. And I may have screwed that up because of the noise they created, the false starts they caused. Thank you. That was an awesome environment, and I'm so happy for all of Gamecock Nation. It's been a long, however many, 8 years or whatever since we beat those guys. So I want our fans to celebrate the heck out of that one. First of all, tons of respect for A&M and Coach Fisher's team. Obviously, the start for them was not ideal, and they never flinched. Quit yawning, David. It's a hell of a win, man. I'm not putting you to sleep yet, but I'm going to be here for a while. That was a tough start for them, and they just they never flinched, and quarterback made some plays and whatnot, and it was ugly as all get out for us there a lot of the time. But just really proud of our players and their fight and the individual plays that a lot of our guys made. Xavier Leggett starting the game, and then the kickoff that he covered at the end of the game and went down there and made a tackle. I mean, Tonka Hemingway just got a game ball in there for the tackle he made on the blocked extra point, which is embarrassing to get an extra point blocked. But Tonka got that guy on the ground and kept it a 2-score game. I mean, if Tonka doesn't tackle him, that thing's going back for 2 points, and all of a sudden they're throwing to the end zone to go to overtime. But just on and on with our players, and just so proud of their fight. They never flinch. And it's a really special group of kids in that locker room, and really happy for them. It was just a little over a month ago, I sat in here after the Georgia game and got asked, did I sense any quit in this football team? That looked like that team's quit. So since that day, we've won 4 straight for the first time since 2013. We just beat who did we beat? Kentucky on the road 2 weeks ago up in Lexington for the first time since 2012. And we just beat Texas A&M for the first time ever. So no, there's no quit in this team. We got a bunch of freaking fighters on this team that love each other and play for one another and care about each other. And it showed out there tonight. As ugly as it was at times, they never flinched, and they just kept coming back. And we talked about we're a second half team, and we get better as the game goes, and we did. I haven't said that we got to play and coach a whole lot better, because we had plenty of opportunities to really put that game away in a lot of instances, and we didn't get it done, and that's disappointing to not be able to convert a 4th and 1 on that last drive and let them go down the field and get points and have an onside kick, and then they recover the onside kick. So a lot of bad football and some bad coaching by us. We got to be a whole lot better, but man, to win this one, just so happy for our players and so happy for our fans, and ready to get back to work tomorrow.
Shane, a stat probably a lot of people will overlook tonight, but I know you won't, was your punting game. Your punter kicked
Ty
6
Kroger got
times
a game ball in there.
for 49-yard average. It
Yeah.
flipped the field every time.
He
And on
did.
top of that, you only gave up 14 yards in return yards from punts tonight.
Yeah, he was awesome. He got a game ball as well for that. I mean, it was look, we knew going into this game it was going to be a 4-quarter SEC football game. I mean, this team's really, really good that we just played. And they're playing all these freshmen. They've been beat up, and they continue to get better. So I mean, we knew it was going to be a battle. And we talked about it on Tuesday in our team meeting that field position and situational football was going to be really, really key, because this is a game where there's not going to be a ton of plays in it. They're not trying to go 100 and run. They're not trying to go fast and run 100 plays. So situational football and field position was going to be really, really key. And Kai was awesome tonight, the way that he was able to flip the field position, and then the way that we were able to cover kicks against some really, really dangerous returners from Texas A&M on kickoff return and punt return.
Field position back right there. Went back and forth, and they got ahead, and then we come back and got turnover, battle back, moved it in, ran it good. I had gut balance. We're throwing the ball, running the ball, and had a good drive right there, 30, 40-yard line, moving, trying to get down to get it, and then Fortson Haynes got banged up and got hurt right there and had to come out. And then Connor come in, hit two nice balls right there. We just came up a yard short on 3rd down, and then got going again, and they got some pressure. Then they started getting some pressure on us, and we couldn't get the run game. We lost the run game a little bit, and we've been able to run the ball fairly. We had good balance in what we were trying to do, and just couldn't make that one more play and that one more drive on offense to get us there. And defensively, then they gave up a couple things there. We had them pinned back, and then missed a couple open field tackles, and they scored, and then got it back, and then we come back, still had a chance, and overthrown for the end zone. A great job to get down on that drive to do what we had to do for the kids. They kept battling back and found a way, and trying to get a Hail Mary and got an onside, which was very rare. I mean, it's a great job by our guys, but it's got to execute better in the beginning, do the things we need to do, pick up some of the self-inflicted wounds on what we're doing, and get better, line up to try to get a good Ole Miss team this week, probably play a little bit better. Question.
This season, you said that mental mistakes has been the kind of key differential between making some of those plays and not. Why do you think so many mental mistakes a week off of the open week?
No, I don't know. Just got to keep your poise and go play them. Just got to get back and get your confidence going and get them. And in the streets, we have it. We just got to do it with more consistency. I mean, it comes and goes a little bit. We just got to be a little more consistent in what we're trying to do.
But why do you think you can turn this around?
Well, I mean, we have good players. And we got a good. I mean, we're in a. We just got to get. We're right there. You're not. It's not like we're getting ran out of the stadium. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but we're at the same time. It doesn't matter whether you ran out of one play. You're right there close, but you got to. Guys are right there, and how hard they're playing, and the belief they have in what we're doing. And we just got to keep executing. We'll find a way to make a play or two, and all of a sudden you'll get over the hump. It's just the way it goes.
What happened to Haynes on that play, and did you think he could come back in?
No, I didn't want to risk it. They couldn't give me enough of a valuation. I think he pushed, and they thought his shoulder popped out, came back in, and when you're a quarterback on your throwing shoulder right there without getting an exam, I didn't want to risk, I didn't think it was the right thing to do. He kept trying to fight to come back in the game, and I thought Connor was doing a nice job in the game, and it was a good chance for him to play, and I thought he did a really nice job. He was poised and understood what we were doing, how we were doing it, and but it was not worth the risk of the future of his career or whatever, especially on your throwing shoulder without being able to get an MRI or something to show me what's actually in there or what's wrong or if there's anything. It may not be, but, it wasn't worth the risk.
You had run pretty well at the end of the
I'm sorry.
You had run pretty well in the first half. You got the ball to start the second half. You put it all on Haynes.
No, it was RPO. We had runs. We were calling runs, and they were stacking the box and bringing the extra guy in the box. And the unblocked guy, that's why we were able to hit the RPOs. We had to slant the first play for about 15 or 20. We had a run on. We had a run on the last. We had about 3 runs on. Them were RPOs. They were bringing the extra guy in the box, and that's why we threw it. So, I mean, they were run RPOs, and if they brought them down, we were running. In the first half, they were staying back. Second half, they started coming down. So that was the run read to come back in. We kept running. And then we tried to run it a lot in the third and fourth quarter, going back the other way. We were trying to run it a lot right there in the fourth quarter. We lost some we weren't able to get it going again.
I think 8 false start penalties. How much of that was breaking a new center? How much of it was
A little bit of that
noise?
too. It was noise, and probably then the first time the quarterback went in, they had a little miscommunication. But, and you know, guys got to listen. I mean, on the road, it's something we play on the road here all the time. That shouldn't have had nothing like that.
Do you feel like you're an undisciplined football team?
No, I said we're just not playing with enough consistency.
And, Coach, we, you know, the lack of execution and not playing with consistency and the you know, talk about mistakes week after week. Why would, you know, why do you feel like that's those questions or the solutions are gonna be found, you know, 7 weeks into the season?
Well, the solutions are there. We know how to do it. We know what to do. It's got to keep our poison doing it, keep practicing the way we're doing it, and get our guys healthy back. We had we had 2 linemen missing this week too, which caused a little bit of that too. I mean, we got to get the consistency and try to get a consistent lineup to go. And that's, you know, communication levels, little things. They're not major things that go on. They're little things that cause big things to happen.
Typically, I know it's a young team. Typically, the cliche is by this point in the season they're not freshmen anymore. What's been different about this team that they need to continue to grow, son?
Well, there's a lot of them. It's got to continue to grow and play, and we're playing good football teams. You just got to keep. You're right there. Just got to figure out a way to do it.
What
Keep
Connor,
coaching.
sorry, Coach, what Connor showed you tonight, and just the fact that no preparation, basically, you just threw him out there, and he went out there and.
Well, he had preparation. He prepared all week, knowing exactly what we were going to do. I mean, he had a great week of practice. He practiced the last couple of weeks and done a great job. And like I said, he's ready to play. He feel very good in what he's doing, and he went out and kept good poise. And I played like I thought. I thought he would do well. I didn't. Like I said before, I've not had anything bad about Connor right now. I think he's getting better and better each week in practice. He's been able to get now since Max has been out. He's getting even more and more reps. So you can just see him getting better and better and feel more comfortable with the things we're doing.
What do you tell your team after a loss like this, especially
Well, we just
the
told
way
them
it
good.
started?
We can't shoot ourselves in the foot coming out, but love your resilience, love your competitiveness. We can't do that. We know point the things out when we got to execute at the right times and while they're happening and what we're doing, and evaluate everything and be honest with you. Honesty is what you have. There ain't no trickery on this thing. You be honest with them, look them, and our kids know it, and they believe in what we're doing. They wouldn't be playing as hard as they're playing. They're doing the things they're doing. We just got to help them out and find ways to hit them a few other times in critical moments.
Was Haynes banged up coming into this game, and was there any thought ever going to
No,
Connor?
he was fine. He practiced all he did. He sat out a couple days last week, which we would have done, and he practiced every day. Yeah, and there was Connor's ready to play. I tell you, Connor's been ready to play. I thought Haynes did some really. I mean, he had the first throw he left inside on a comeback. Guy covered it real well. Just got to throw it away, and then he made some really nice things in the game. Brought us back, made some really nice throws and plays in the game.
Anything else? Jimbo, you're in every game practically this year, except for
Have been.
one maybe.
Exactly.
How do you solve that execution problem? How do you take that next step?
You got to keep explaining, keep poise, and just keep sawing at it and keep working at it. And then when it happens, you get over that hump, and then you move on. And you understand what it's like, and that's just like anything in life. No matter what you're doing, you can't go backwards. You don't want to go backwards with it. You don't panic on it. You panic, but you have urgency. There's no panic, but you got to have urgency to fix it and the resiliency to fix it. And we have to do it as coaches and evaluate, make sure we're doing the right things and what we're doing, everything. How we're doing it, make sure the explanations are right, and get them in the right situations.
After that first 5 minutes, did you feel like that was about as fluid as the offense's run this season? In
Yeah,
that
we
first
were
half?
throwing it, running it, mixing boots, naked, had run game, had throwing the ball down the field, taking shots, and got some good protection. We had good fluidity in the game, moved the ball very well. I mean, I don't know what we had. We had that
392.
Yeah, we got moving the ball better than we have. We moved the ball with much more consistency. We just got to finish and over the hump.
How much are you looking forward to being back home after 6 weeks?
Well, it'd be great. It's always great to come back to Kyle Field, and that's like I said, that's home, and we get there the next 4 out of 5 weeks, and we need to play, but we got to play this week.
Anything else? Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
We'll get the players in here.